The meek shall inherit the earth. What does that mean? I'll tell you exactly what it means. Do you know what it means? Yeah? It doesn't mean weak pushover, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that either. There's power in that. The meek shall inherit the earth. Are you the meek? Let's do a little examination of that, because if you are, congratulations. You are in the most powerful place, and I'm going to explain why. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. Why will the meek inherit the earth? Well, what does meek mean? So a lot of people say meek is the person who sits back and lets people mow over them, doesn't stand up for themselves, and is sort of almost shy. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. The meek is definitely not the person you're going to hear in the room spewing anything. The meek is an observer. The meek is all wisdom and all knowing. Therefore, does not have to make a huge impact and presence in the material world. They're making a huge impact in the quantum world. Their power lies there because their focus is there. Yours is too. But you may be so focused on the material world and trying to change things physically through convincing people, arguing your point, taking sides, creating groups and organizations that oppose others. And so that's not the meek. The meek would never be a part of that. And this is why we don't have people in high places as far as our institutions and governments go who are meek, because a meek person would never seek that kind of power or ego or attention. And so therefore we get a lot of egos there. Even if they might have good intentions, it's probably going to include conflict or division or separation. This is why our systems don't work. What is the meek? I'm going to ask you right now. The meek does not have to, you ready for this? Number one, doesn't have to argue a point. Never has to argue a point. The meek can have their own opinions. Of course, we're individuals. That's the beauty of it. The meek places others first. That makes them meek. In other words, they're not about me and what I get first, protecting me, survival for me. The meek is willing to give up, seemingly, their own power and attention to place others first, when actually what happens is that's the most powerful place to be, because the quantum field then has no barriers. It is no fear, because when you have no fear, you have access to everything. When you fear and you think you have to protect yourself, you have a directive to the quantum field that you don't have enough, that there's lack, and that you have something to be afraid of. And therefore, you create the very barrier to that which you desire. The meek don't have a barrier. The meek still experience human conditions, feelings, pain, suffering. No, not in the same sense, but yes, pain. Struggling is when you oppose the suffering. So if you're suffering in any way, when you oppose it and say it shouldn't be happening, you struggle. The meek don't oppose it. They know there's purpose in it, even if they don't know what that purpose is. Now, the meek don't have all the answers, because as human beings, we do have some physical barriers, purposefully. It shields us from going insane, basically. Too much information could drive anybody crazy. The meek, they are problem solvers, they're creators, they're expansive. They're wise. They have what I call as the knowing. They just know things. They don't have to impose the knowing on others, but they demonstrate it. They're meek by not imposing how others should act or believe or behave. They demonstrate it. And so you'll want to be around them because they have a sense of power and peace and wisdom that goes without words. The meek will inherit the earth because the others will fight with one another to the death. And no struggle to stay alive in the physical world will actually save anyone. In fact, it'll be the opposite, because when you oppose other people, you're cutting off all the avenues, all the fingers on the hand that feeds you. And so when you work together and you see the value in everything, the meek understands that you are just as beautiful as I am, and that you have just as many skills as I do, and they may appear differently, but you see it. You see the light in everyone, and you know that it'll come in completely different forms, and maybe the person who's most needy is the grandest teacher of all, and the meek recognize that and take advantage of that opportunity to participate in whatever way they can in that scenario, not try to correct it. The meek has no boundaries to the one source, and therefore they're not weak, and they won't get out a machete and battle you back, but they won't lay down either. They will have more powerful ways to change our world and situations that you can't even imagine. And it's going on behind the scenes because you can't see that in the material world. Things will align for them that will open up doors, protect them, guide them to other things, and guide certain people to them to create something even higher and more powerful, more meaningful. So the power lies in that quantum field. So every thought, is creating. Scientists can't explain it. Why somebody's thought or belief before they even come into the experiment already changes the results before it's even started. So no one experiment is clean, because as long as there's a human being involved, it is being, let's just say, influenced by that person's thoughts and beliefs. So you're already, with your thoughts and beliefs, coming into anyone's situation, changing it. Imagine what you would do, or could do, can do, if you changed your thoughts right now before you went into a situation. So let's say you're going to go into a meeting. If you changed your thoughts right now and you envisioned something really beautiful happening, even if you, as the meek, will put the ego aside and say, you know what, those results may not turn out the way I desire, but I know there's something really huge that's going to open up if that doesn't happen. And they're okay with that. They have total acceptance of everything because they know there's a bigger, higher picture. And so the gateways will actually open up, and that job that they go in and they envision it went beautifully and went perfect. And so they go in and it goes exactly the way as they imagine, and that person's picking up on that beautiful, positive vibe and vision that that person put out. And they get called and say, you didn't get the position. And so an ego-based lower frequency would say, oh my gosh, law of attraction doesn't work, blah, 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 and then they go into a negative thinking pattern. But the meek says, something else happened in that meeting. So the next day they get a call, and that same person, that boss, personally calls and says, the reason you didn't get the job is because I think you would be perfect for actually a higher position that we have. It's a CFO position or whatever it is. Would you be interested in that? Because we'd like to offer that to you. This is how it works. But as soon as you go into doubt or you lose that faith, you'll change that, right? And maybe that boss will say, wow, they'd be great for CFO, and then overnight they go, maybe not. We're just going to leave it alone because you influenced it. It's that subtle and that powerful. And the meek, they just go into it with all power, knowing that everything's going to lead them to something beautiful and amazing. And they let it go, and they have total trust, and they remove all the barriers. That's the meek. And so when all things fall down and everybody's, battling one another and the dust settles, and the meek are standing there looking around at all the spoils, and they will inherit the earth. Who are you? It takes practice to do this. It's called enlightenment. And the meek shall inherit the earth and beyond. Are you ready to do that? I hope that you'll subscribe. We're going to talk more about this. How do you go into that space? I have free videos, and I have a free 1-hour masterclass called Breakthrough Fear, 4 proven steps, how to manifest amazing things. How do you do that? I actually go through 4 steps, and you can sign up on my website, landriaonkka.com, for that free masterclass. You can come sign up through here and learn the different steps on how to do amazing things. You get a free mobile app. What am I manifesting? Catch those thoughts. My app will help you do that. It costs you absolutely nothing. These are free also. You want to get out of your job? You want to start doing amazing things? Get new skills. These will tell you how that's being done, how I did it, and how I created a completely new life. I want to help others find that life too, and earn money doing something really powerful for others and for themselves. You got to put the mask on first, right? I'm going to give you many, many solutions, so stick with me. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful. Loving, harmonious, and happy blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.